Please, turn off the ad block, subscribe, and share. Links will be below for anyone wanting to support this channel.
Hello everybody, my name is Craig Bennett and I'm the founder and owner of Executable, and today I am doing a review on Folder Lock. Folder Lock is a program that both has a trial and paid version into it. And the one thing that you need to note right now is, if you watch my previous videos, you know I try to keep things cheap, if not free, as possible, but have as high quality into it, especially when it comes to cybersecurity, and this is no exception. Now, as far as this goes, it does have a hefty price tag of $40, or you can get in a bundle with a bunch of other things and get a little bit cheaper. But why would I be recommending something like this with a hefty price tag? Well, it's because it got really worthwhile features into it. Now, while I did get this for free to review, I want to mention that I am keeping the price tag in mind. And in fact, let me get into a little story here to explain this a little further. What Folder Lock does is it is a file and folder encryption technology. And basically that just means that you encrypt it and bad guys can't get into it as long as you got a hefty password into it. So let's get into hackers. If you are famous to some degree, even my level, then you're the exception to this rule. Because if you're famous, the more famous you are, the more of a risk this is, and I'll get a little bit more into this later. But the more you got to do. I've been able to hack into iPhones, Androids, Windows phones, Blackberries, regular phones, so on and so on. And with that in mind, I was able to hack into them with battery. As long as the battery's into it, even if the phone's off itself, the battery's into it, I can hear everything that's being said in the room, and even see out a camera and pull up information depending on the operating system. But if you're on lower grade, like for example my grade, where I'm helping you, the viewers, with cybersecurity and things of this nature, the bad guys are known as black hats. Many black hats love this and actually try to help me once in a while with this, because there's just flat out not enough people who know about cybersecurity, and they want people to really be involved with it, like myself, where I want you to be involved with it and to knowledge and to actually be proactive into this. One, it makes it challenging for them, but the bigger reason why is it's a very isolated area, and you're going to find out if you ever get into this career field or hefty into hacking, you're going to find out that it's a very small world, a very, very small world, because there's just not many people who's into it and willing to put their time into it. But there is a handful, obviously, that hate what I'm doing, and I've even used some of their attacks in some of my videos, like phishing attacks and stuff of that nature, to show you real-world examples. So even on my level, I have targeted attacks, and on your level, given that you're not famous to any degree, you're not going to be having a targeted attack, or at least you shouldn't have a targeted attack. And what I mean by this is a targeted attack, depending on what exactly they're doing, let's say they take a month to target you and to actually act upon it. That can easily be $500,000 worth of man hour right there. $500,000 worth of man hour for just trying to target you. If you got bad credit, horrible credit, if there's virtually nothing they can do with it, that's $500,000 out the door that they're not getting back. So they're expecting, when they target you, they're expecting at least $500,000. So that's a very important thing. And obviously that depends on what exactly they're doing. So when you get attacked, if you're just the average Joe, it's a mass attack. It's a lot of people. Stores might get targeted, like Target, Walmart, and so on, for their credit information, but you personally won't. And this means that the attacks will be trying to get your identity. So identity theft being your legal papers, your medical, your social security, your bank statements, your tax information, things of this nature. These are the things they're going for, because if they can do a mass attack and grab a bunch of this, they can easily go well above the $500,000 and pretty much even go up to a couple $1 million in a small, widespread attack. And this is very important to note, because what you have to focus on if you're the average day-to-day person is how to protect your identity. And this is a great method to do it. I'll get a little bit more into this when we're going through it. So let's start this up. And as far as this goes, this is when you install it, one thing I want to mention is if you're working on something, save it, because it wants to restart. And for me, it just said okay for the button. If you press that, it will just start restarting it right there. No real warning besides the message that pops up. So keep that in mind. That kind of messed me over, and that's why I'm marking that as a con. That really should have, do you want to restart now or later? Not a, hey, let's restart. Okay. No. So yeah, keep that one in mind, but that's, one-time thing, so it's whatever. Now, as far as this is what it's going to look like when you have your thing set up as far as your password into it. And this is the master password, the password to get into the entire thing. And if you don't know what this is, you're not going to get into it. And you might be asking, why isn't there a recovery method? Well, the only safe method to do that is a two-step verification, and you can't really do that with a localized software that's offline at the moment. So with this not being connected to the internet, aside from the service backup feature, the a secure backup feature, there's no way for a two-step verification to properly work. And that's important to note. Now let's get into this real quick. Sarah Palin, the story about her. You like her or not, don't care. She got hacked, Yahoo account got hacked a couple years back when she was going for VP. I think it was VP, it might have been something else. But anyways, basically what ended up happening is she is a famous person, so again, targeted attack purely on her stuff and knowing who she was. So the hackers obviously didn't know her password. So they went to Yahoo and said, forgot my password, put in her email address. And since she's public, they said, oh, here's her birthday. And they said, that's correct, or something like that. I don't know what the security question was, but it was something around that point. And they gave, the Yahoo gave them the password. And that's how they hacked into her email address. And that's why you don't want a recovery method within here. So what I'll advise is for the passwords within here, get something like LastPass or something like that and put a note, and at least put it where you're hinting what the password is, if not the actual password itself. I use LastPass, so it's up to you to trust it, but for me, I use LastPass. It's worthwhile to do that if you want to go that route. Otherwise, you're risking losing everything forever. So as far as this goes, let's put in the wrong password, and that's what it looks like. Let's put in the right password, and here we go. So as far as that goes, if you go into the settings for the hacks settings on the login, we can actually see the logs for our logging in. So if we select the set incorrect password action, if someone actually tried to put in the incorrect password, then you can actually tell the whole machine to shut down after so many attempts. This is worthwhile to note because brute force attacks, someone can try over and over and over and over different passwords, and eventually they will get in. And this slows it down so much that it won't be worth it. Keep in mind, if you watch the can enable video, then you will know that the by having a few characters more, you can go from 5 minutes to crack a password to 19 years. Go a few back and you go to 30 seconds. So a couple characters is big thing. And when you're slowing it down with something like this, that's a huge thing to keep in mind. Now, as far as that goes, let's just jump into this. So as far as lock files, what does this do? This uses kernel level filtering, and basically it hides your files, pictures, music, documents, so on. Even if the computer's on safe mode, it will hide it. And with that in mind, this could be used for something like, say for example, if you got a laptop, taking it to a coffee shop, you hid your medical files and stuff. Someone stole your laptop. If you have a program like Pray or something else, and I do have videos on them, they're free programs that your computer, whenever it sees the internet and you tell that program to phone home, it will give you the exact address, especially if it has a GPS on the device. And you can give that to the cops, and it will even take a picture of the person who's using it. So the person that stole it, and the cops go there, arrest the person, get your stuff back, and there you go. Otherwise, don't count on getting your stuff back. In the meantime, you don't have to worry about your stuff being exposed, so you don't have to worry about your data being sold. Keep in mind things like Social Security is like $50, between $50 to $350, depending on the seller. Things like birth certificates is $25 to $200. Again, depends selling it and whose certificate, things of that nature. So there is some actual value to your information, and this helps protect it. Now, and those numbers go up and down. I've seen them go up to a couple $1,000s. I've seen them go down to $10. It really goes all over the place. So as far as that goes, let's go into the next thing. And as far as this goes, let's go ahead and open this up. And basically this is a encrypted file or folder, really. And if I try to open it here, the thing will go here and ask me for the password because it's encrypted and it's closed. Now, if I put in the wrong password, it'll just kick off and say something like wrong password. And if we put in the proper password, then what will end up happening is the thing will unlock and I'll be able to do what I need to do with it. So this is actually where the meat of the software is. And what you would do is simply do create a locker, tell it where to save the locker itself, and then you would set a password, and basically it will look like it's partitioning the part of your drive for it. In reality, it's actually just encrypting the file, and it is partitioning some. And what's happening is when you open it up, you can go in, fool around, do whatever you want, and when you want to encrypt it again, you can do close locker. Now, when you try to shut this down, if you have locker open, locker is one of these with the encrypted stuff. then if it's open, then it'll tell you that one of them's open and you need to close it, and you have an option to close it. This is worthwhile for a major reason. If you have something like Dropbox, Google Drive, or something like that, this is worthwhile, especially if it's like pictures, planned things of that nature. A lot of people don't know this, but if you look at the terms of services, who owns the data that's on the cloud services? It's the companies. They don't really look at the data, but they technically own it. And this makes sure that it's hidden. So let's say that you're in a off country that will arrest you because you're wearing color blue. Well, basically this is the one thing that could protect you from the government, and also it could protect you from the company itself from getting into your information. And the one thing to keep in mind for something like this is you need to have your stuff, the program folder lock on both sides, like on all your computers. And also on top of that, you need to make sure that you close the locker, because otherwise it won't be encrypted. So with that, let's go into the next thing. And this is the secure backup. This goes a step further, and this is the company's own cloud services. Now, as far as this, you might say, wait a second. You're still recommending this, even though you gave a free solution. Why would I do this? Well, if you end up doing this method to encrypt your stuff going across like Dropbox or something like that, then what I'll advise is don't do that necessarily with your identification papers, medical, legal, tax, whatever. Use a service like this, and specifically this service, because what happens is this actually encrypts both the actual transmission, and also encrypts the file itself. So the transmission is encrypted with 128-bit SSL connection. This is both the login and the entire transmission. And with this, you'll have the ability, like any other backup service, to add, restore, delete, things of this nature. It's pretty basic on that front. But the one thing to keep in mind is what is being moved is these lockers. And with that in mind, you have a double layer encryption, the transmission plus the actual 256 AES. And keep in mind, if your password on the stuff, even though the encryption is high and the highest it can be, if your password sucks, then it'll take them 5 minutes to break in. If your password's great, encryption sucks, then still take them 5 minutes to break in. But the password is great and the encryption is great, it'll take them years. For a 256 AES, it'll take them 10,000 years to break in with current day technology. And as you can see from my Canon Enable, if they did just a flat out brute force attack with the password alone, and they were allowed to do that, then you can see that by just adding a couple characters, you automatically add quite a few years, like 2 decades, easy. So that's why it's important to realize that. And that's why it's important to realize this, that you have a double layer of encryption. And this is worthwhile, in my opinion, for tax documents, medical forms, things that, again, identity theft, what you as the average data user be targeted for. Obviously, if you're famous, this still will be useful in some aspects, because identity theft is even more so on your side. People want your stuff. So let's go into the next feature, and this is also worthwhile. So the biggest features I see on this, on the program that people will want, is the Encrypt Files and this. And what this does is you can actually encrypt attachments, email attachments and stuff like that. and that way in the transmission it's encrypted. Now, as far as that goes, let's go to this. So for email, it's a zip file, and let's go right here. I made a zip file earlier, and if we right click it and go to 7-zip open archive and then open it up a little bit more, you can see it's encrypted, its method, and if we try to extract it, we need to put in the password. And if we put in a proper password, the thing will start encrypting. If not, it will say that. So as long as the person that you're emailing this to knows what the password is, then they can actually go in and unencrypt it and go from there. Now, as far as the other, you can have an executable file. For this, you do need to have the locker closed. And for this, you need to, you don't need to have the USB attached or CHATs. You can actually create a brand new locker if you want. But if you want to use one, you do need to have that closed. And go next, tell what locker to use, what designation to leave the file, and then you can give it a pass, or give it the entire thing. Let's open up this. This is the one I made earlier for this example, so we can keep things speed up. And basically, as you can see here, they'll say, just wait a second or two. And yeah, my AVAS was actually giving me false positives on this. But as far as that goes, you can see that it opened up a brand new program. And I can put in the password here and unlock the locker that I placed within the executable. Why is this important? Well, what happens is if you're sending this off to someone, you don't want them to have to download this. And this is a huge problem that you'll find with many encryption things, is it wants you to download the exact same program, and the person on the other end doesn't. They just want the stuff, and they either are just putting up with your crap with sending the encryption, or they understand and they want the stuff to be encrypted, but they still don't want to have to download a given software and add it to their category. So what this allows the person to do is you can make it into an executable file, and the person on the other end, they just need to know the password, put in the password, and they could get in just like before. So with that, let's move on to the next one. And finally, I'll mention wallet. So what is wallet? Well, basically a wallet is as it sounds, and basically the it keeps your credit cards, bank cards, stuff like that. It's one of those features that I was talking about that it's like, it does its job, but I've seen it in so many programs now, on just about every single encryption program, that I just want to bypass this. But for a quick glance, it's just you give it a name, give it a whatever password. I don't even think that match. When the stuff gets done, you can tell it what card you have and it fill out information and go from there. Again, I've seen on so many things. If you got LastPass, you already have this. If you got OnePass, you already have this. There's many programs where you could easily already have this and not even realize it. I don't ever use these, so I'm not really good to say that's worthwhile or not. Personally, I'll just say no, but it's up to you. Let's go to shred files, and this is another one that's for you, this could literally be the only choice for you, but for me, and if you got Avast, or at least my version of Avast, then you do have other choices. So what data shredder, or space shredder, is it called space shredder? Shred files, whatever. What it does is you can actually go and shred files, and you can tell what to shred, and let's open up the settings, and what to replace this stuff with. So in case you don't know, forensics, if you delete something off your computer, it's not truly deleted. Basically, it's earmarked, so the operating system knows it can write over that space on the CD, the table. And basically what happens is when the stuff fills up, it will start writing over those earmarks. In about 7-8 times writing over it, you probably won't see what was there, but it does take quite a few times, and you might never be able to really erase all the stuff there. So the only way to really do it is by using a method like this. The thing that I see where it's a pitfall on this is the amount of times you can do it. With AVAS, you can tell it amount of times. Yes, you got a lack of choice of what you can do, but you can tell it a billion times. Well, not a billion, but 100 times or so if you want. Keep in mind, if it takes 10 minutes to do one pass, times that by whatever, and that should give you an idea that it's going to take a long freaking time. And doing something like 10 passes is good enough. But if you want to be real thorough, like myself, 100 passes is something I do. Unfortunately, you don't have this choice within here, so there's not much you can do about that besides selecting what type of information you want to cover on the table. So with that, let's go into the next, clean history. Again, this is because even Microsoft has things that does most of this. Many programs already do this for free, and it's not that hard to do it yourself. There's some use here if you want it quick and easy, if you don't have another way, but you probably already have a free way to already do this. What the meat of this is really lock files, encrypt files, secure backup, and protect the files in a CD or a zip format. So that's very important to note. The wallets, the shred files, clean history, I don't see that being worthwhile, and that's where I'll say it's not something to jump for joy for those 3 features. But for the rest of these, especially the Encrypt files and this one, that is something to jump for joy, and that's why I recommend this. So the cons, you probably already know the pros. The cons of this, again, when you first install it, you have to do a full restart, and there's not really much of a warning. The other con to this is the if you do use the shred files, you can't pick how many passes you have. Like for example, if I go and shred that, like if I want to shred that, I can select that and do shred, and it will give you a warning, and basically you're not going to get it back. So if I press yes, it will just start shredding it and go from there, and it's that simple. But like I said, I don't know how many passes it went through, and this is something important to note. Oh, and the other and last con is the price itself. It is up there, but like I said, it's a one-time, and these to me make it worthwhile. It's up to you if that's worthwhile to you, and there is other methods out there, but like I said, the other systems that I use, they're so complex. Even at some high level, it's not that they're complex, the user interface is so horrible on some of these other systems that you can't use it, where on this it's pretty user friendly. Like there's not too much more you can do as far as the user friendly. So this is worthwhile in that aspect alone. But anyways, oh, and it's reliable, and the company's still updating it and stuff like that. That's another thing. That's a problem that you will run into when you get into encryption software. But anyways, I'm pretty sure this video is run long enough, and you probably have an idea of if you want it or not. And you know my opinion on it. Now, if you like this, go and leave a like, subscribe, share, and also check out our Patreon campaign and donate to us. If you didn't like this, go and leave a dislike and tell me why, so I could fix it in future videos. But if you do have any questions on this or anything else, or any comments that you want to add, go and leave that in the comment section. And if you have tried this, leave below your thoughts on this so other people will know what you think about it, and they can get more of an informed opinion since multiple people will be telling them about it. Good, bad, or indifferent, go and leave your opinion down and be thorough and be detailed as possible, and that way people know what to expect. Again, this has been Great Bent, founder of Tech Views. Nope, and hope you have a great day.